According to the Death Penalty Information Center, more than 170 people in the last 50 years have been wrongly accused and executed due to misused forensics, inadequate defense, false confessions, and eyewitness misidentifications. Those wrongly executed, the lack of deterrence that capital punishment has on violent crime, and the crazy amount that the death penalty costs are all notable in discussing why the death penalty should be completely abolished in the United States. First, the use of the death penalty has been proven to have absolutely no deterrence against violent crime whatsoever. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, the use of the death penalty is not a viable form of crime control at all. Several police chiefs were asked to rank factors that, in their best judgment, reduce the rate of violent crime. Every single one of these police chiefs ranked the death penalty as last, meaning that it is least effective when dealing with violent crime. Statistics found by the Amnesty International Journal found that the states with the death penalty actually had higher crime rates than those without the death penalty. In the year of 2018, it was found that the states that do use the death penalty have actually 30% higher crime than those without. Those who preach the desirability of execution as a method of crime control deceive the public and mask their own failure to identify and confront the true causes of crimes. Second, those who are executed can be innocent and have been. There is no way of knowing whether or not those wrongly accused are innocent, considering that courts do not generally entertain claims of innocence once their defendant has passed away. According to the Death Penalty Information Center, there are more than 18 cases in the last 30 years that have had strong evidence of innocence, but due to inadequate defense, were executed. While these stories can be few and far between, I want you to ask yourself this question: how is it fair to take away an innocent person's life? And who has the right to make that choice? Lastly, I want to talk about the financial aspect of the death penalty, where this topic isn't really normally discussed when talking about the death penalty. Seeking the death penalty is expensive. The total includes all the costs that occur between the prosecutor's decision to seek the death penalty and when the death penalty actually takes place, if it ever occurs. The seriousness and complexity of seeking the death penalty increases its cost drastically. First, the prosecution must go through a preliminary hearing. It's looking to see if there's enough evidence to convene a grand jury. There is also another trial before the actual trial can begin. If the case proceeds this far, then the prosecution can announce it seeks the death penalty and proceed forward. Without getting into too much detail of the legal proceedings within these different steps, I want you to understand that each one of these steps costs an insane amount of money. Between the years of 2008 and 2017, the state of Louisiana spent $15.6 million to maintain their death penalty system. This does not include prosecutions, court cases that never went to trial, or the cost of the state Supreme Court review. During that time, the state only executed one single person. Because death row inmates are often in prison for a long period of time before being executed, it's important to note that these people are most likely old when they do get the death penalty. Older people have more health problems and tend to have more severe mental states, which both of these things require care, which require money as well. The debate of whether or not to abolish the death penalty often centers around morality and whether or not the death penalty deters crime. But the cost is also another relevant factor. Because of the severity, death row and execution costs are an economic burden on our government's budget. It's more cost-effective to commute death penalties to life with imprisonment sentences without parole. So how is this a problem? Because we're never going to stop all violent crime, like those that grant the death penalty, it's important that the death penalty system is repaired. Some of the things that could be examined that I found from CNN are better definitions of who should die. They need to be absolutely certain of these people's guilt before performing the execution. Choosing better methods of execution, which basically saying do not execute at all, do life sentences without parole. Examine inmates' lifestyles and look into the defendants and why they committed these crimes and when they committed these crimes. You may be wondering what you can do to help with this problem. There are many different sources and ways you can help, but I'm going to focus today on the wrongly executed. There is an organization called the Innocence Project, and this charity works to exonerate the innocent through DNA testing and reform the criminal justice system to prevent future injustices. You can visit this website and donate and find out real stories of real people who have been wrongly executed. You might be wondering what this really has to do with you if it's such a big issue. But this is the current system that some of your country believes in. You need to take the time and educate yourself on whether or not this is right for you. And if it's not, take a stand and stand up for what you believe in. Thank you.